What up, infidels? Another week, another Brown. That's right, 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row. What an incredible streak we have going on here. We're on our way back, baby. We're on our way back. I'm so glad that a lot of you are enjoying it and watching it again. I miss you guys. And you know what's crazy? I didn't know how much I missed you until I got all the comments this last couple weeks about, yeah, you're back. And you know, a couple comments on my breaking newses. Or one comment on the breaking news, talking about what I said on the podcast. Like, yo, it was, thank you. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, I needed that a little bit. So, I mean, you guys, you can't have a Dangerous Brown podcast without your infidels. That's what my mom always told me. So it's good that you guys are back. And thank you. Thank you. You know what I mean? It's crazy how far like one or two comments really go and like they can make your day. And it's also crazy that like sometimes it takes comments to make me feel good. And that's a me thing. That's a me thing. Yo, that little red box with a circle in it for notifications, man, they really, really, really can control your energy and make you feel good. It's like a drug. It's a dopamine release. Oh God, the craziest feeling is definitely the TikTok one. Because when something goes like really viral on TikTok and you have over 100 notifications, you'll see the 99 plus. Bro, the 99 plus does something to your brain. I think that's why TikTokers are quite possibly the most fucked up out of all the social media people. Like, you know, breaking news is whatever. It doesn't harm anyone, or it doesn't annoy anyone, right? It's just something I make in a studio that I pay for. The time to rent. You know what I mean? It's not like some of these TikTokers be doing shit in public. In public. Some of the pranks are nuts. Just in people's way, but you get the 99 plus. I think the better designed the dopamine dump is, like the better designed it is to keep you hooked, the more and more insane things you'll be willing to do. I can't imagine what the notifications on OnlyFans feel like. That must be nuts, because what you have to do to get those is extra crazy, right? For a lot of people. I'll suck your dick for some likes, man. That's what OnlyFans is. I'll suck your dick for some likes. Give me some likes. And money, actually. OnlyFans is money. I guess it's less of a dopamine release because it's like a job, maybe? I don't know. Maybe that should be my first interview on here, an OnlyFans model. Just be like, yo, how does that feel? The comparativeness to a TikTok like versus an OnlyFans like, because that's the one I don't know. Because an Instagram like is pretty good, Facebook was pretty good, but TikTok is the most like, meow, if that makes any sense. TikTok will make you, especially during the pandemic, when I was stuck at home at my parents' house, sometimes my days were dictated, my mood of my day was dictated on whether or not I had the 99 plus. That was and then I'd get jealous of other people's videos that would get a lot of likes. It was probably the most mentally unhealthy relationship I had with social media during the pandemic. That being said, I don't think I have like a super healthy relationship. I mean, I'm constantly posting clips and doing this and doing that, so I don't know if it's like the healthiest relationship, but it definitely wasn't as bad as during the pandemic. But I don't think anyone had a healthy relationship with anything during the pandemic. That was fucking crazy. I don't like, the further we get away from it, it's like, I don't even think we're really going to see the actual effects of this pandemic later. Like, not obviously we're seeing them now, but like mentally, man, I think like, when we're like grandparents, our grandkids, if you're even having kids, our grandkids are gonna be like, man, he does this weird thing, and then they'll be like, oh, that's just a pandemic thing. You know, old people do that. You know how like depression era people eat dust or whatever the fuck they did? You know what I mean? Like they had just had some holdovers from that time. We're definitely going to have something from that time. For some people, it's the masks. For some people, it's the masks. You'll see them out every once in a while. And not anymore out in public. The only place I really see masks anymore is the airport. And I think I've said this before, but the airport restroom is probably the place where it felt like the masks actually helped. Like going back through all the times and all the places we were at and all the weird mask rules that we had. You know, the ones where you had to walk in the restaurant with the mask, but you could take it off as soon as you sat down. You know, it felt, obviously that was for show. You had to be, when you were outdoors, you had to be masked. Obviously, that was for sure. Show. Obviously, that was for show. But the airport restroom, yo, the masks for sure were effective there. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was more effective at keeping you healthy, but it was definitely more effective. It was definitely more effective in not making you smell feces. So I imagine like your gas station restrooms were pretty solid. Any place with a public restroom, the mask 100% was some kind of effective in doing something. But yeah, so you know what? I knew I didn't. How do I say this? I knew I hadn't worn a pair of pants in a while because I put on a pair the other day and I found a mask in the pocket. And I was like, damn, I haven't put this pants on in at least 2 years, a year and a half. It was like finding a $20 bill in your pocket, but instead of like being like, oh, cool, it was just a reminder of the worst time of my life. Instead of being like, this is awesome, I was like, oh shit, remember this time that sucked ass? Remember that suck ass time? That's what that reminded me of. The pandemic was a suck ass time. Sorry, that was me giving a thumbs up to my producer who wanted to just make sure everything was working. Because you know how we've had camera issues going on for the last couple weeks. Hopefully we can make it all through this one without a camera issue. We're doing it and we're trying. I can't remember the last Dangerous Brown episode without a camera issue. Is it even Dangerous Brown if everything's working? You feel what I'm saying? Is it even Dangerous Brown if everything's working? We're just flying by the seat of our pants here, bro. This is the open mic of podcasts. I think I've said it before. We're doing our best. I'm filming this on a Thursday, by the way. I normally film on Friday, release Monday. So, you know, sometimes I'm like slow on the uptake on current events when I release Monday because I don't know what happens during the weekend. You know, like last Monday, I didn't talk about the Montgomery boat brawl at all. That Montgomery boat fight was probably, that was a huge moment in internetness, I guess. You know what I mean? And it's so interesting. I want to say it's like a cultural moment, and it is a cultural moment. You know, it was huge. A lot of people knew about the boating incident. If you don't know about the boating incident, just go on Twitter, look up Montgomery boat fight. There's like 3 minutes, and it's very fun to watch. Some old white woman gets smacked with a chair. That's pretty cool. But it's hard to say that these things are like cultural moments because of just how quick the internet moves. Right? Someone was telling me this the other day. We were watching a TikTok. We're back on TikTok. Wait, this is a TikToking type of day. A TikToking type of time. That's a lot of T's. but we were watching a TikTok and we were watching someone do something embarrassing. That was pretty embarrassing. And my friend, Brian Simpson, in his 40s, was like, man, why would you put that up? This is going to be on the internet forever and your kids will see it. And it's like, they definitely won't. Things move so fast. Virality has a different meaning than when I was a kid. Because at the beginning of the internet, if something went truly viral, like the Star Wars kid or that Numa Numa song, like so many people saw it. And it was a thing for like a year. The Star Wars kid popped up so much over the course of like the sort of early internet time. But now everything goes viral. Right? The key, there used to be a time, especially in like early YouTube days, where if you went viral, you had a following and you could build. And that's not how it works anymore. How it works is the key isn't going viral. It's how many times can you go viral? It's not a quality game, it's a quantity game. And even the shifts in what is viral is changing. I've had at least, I would say 15 to 20 videos online get 1 million views. 1 million. But is that viral? A lot of people would say so. I would say so. But if you look at, let's see, okay. I'm going to look at a TikToker who I remember was huge during the pandemic. I don't know who the biggest TikToker is now. I'm not on TikTok like that anymore. I used to be like, I used to know who's like who's trending, who's viral, and now my TikTok is mostly cat videos. Like it's like a compilations of cats doing silly things. It's the small things in life. But let's see. Okay. Let's go Addison Rae. She has 88 million followers on TikTok. Videos, 7 million views, 12 million views, 17.7 million views, 5 million views. You know what I mean? 16 million views, 22 million views, and I haven't seen any of these videos. Would you even consider them viral if you haven't seen them? Like there is a discussion to be made that 7.8 million views, that was her latest TikTok, isn't a viral video. I remember something that Bret Easton Ellis once said on his podcast. He was interviewing, this was an interview with Kanye West. So Bret Easton Ellis is a writer. He wrote American Psycho. And he says, as things get tougher financially, popularity becomes currency. That's what's happening now. Follower count, that's currency. That's currency. And the world is getting harder financially. Earlier I said, if you have kids, your grandkids, I said, your grandkids might say, if you have kids, that's the thing I said. It's getting tougher and tougher to have a family. The cost of a family is insane. People, it's so funny that pundits will talk about loss of traditional values. And it's like, well, if it's too expensive for me to have a child, what chances do traditional values have? We can't even create the family unit to pass on the values. There's a give and take. You want traditional values, you have to provide some kind of financial security. And I'm not saying, like, hey, we got to spread the wealth. I'm not saying we got to do some sort of communist sort of thing. I'm just saying a person working 40 hours a week should be able to have a family. If you give in to society, society should give you something back. That is the social contract, right? If what you are putting in, you're not getting back, then you aren't going to contribute all the way. You're putting in 40 hours of work a week and you're not getting back appropriate compensation. Well, you're not going to give society a child. That's what's happening. It's a breaking of the social contract. And the people will be like, what's going on? This new generation doesn't get it. It's like, no. It's what's happening is you're seeing the free market at work. If you don't provide the workers enough to live, the workers won't provide you with enough workers. That's why the abortion thing is huge right now. They need to force us to create the next generation of wage slaves. Because if we were allowed to get rid of them, if we were allowed to have abortions, more people would take their financial situation into account. This is how the thought for this episode started. And, by the way, before this, I'm filming on Thursday because I'm doing two Neil Brennan shows. Friday in Dallas, Saturday in Houston. So they'll all be done by then. But it'll be 2 theater shows, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited. As far as, I think we've talked about on here, like I would like to feature for somebody. I think Neil Brennan and I would be a good fit. Neil Brennan's a genius joke writer. I pride myself in my joke writing. I think together it would be a good show. But, we're putting that out there. We're manifesting. We're manifesting, guys. Everyone, you know what? We'll take a second, and for me, I'll say Neil Brennan takes me on the road, but I want us together. I'll do a countdown. Just say one thing you want. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I hope Neil Brennan takes me on the road. Okay. Hopefully you said one thing you want as well, because together we are manifesting. Let's manifest together. It's more powerful, right? If we all put something in the universe at the same time, the better chance the universe gives something back. It's the social contract with the universe. The more you put in, the more you get out. You put in a lot to the universe will give you a lot back. You put in a lot to society, if society doesn't give you a lot back, you're going to stop at a certain point. It's not that nobody wants to work. It's that the rich don't want to stop hoarding. And working isn't worth it. Why work when you can bust your ass and not afford a place to live and eat? Or you can do some TikTok dances in the street or do some crazy ass pranks where you walk into someone's house unannounced or whatever. And that gets you millions of views and that can get you money. Why wouldn't you just do that? If we had the same situation where we had in the 70s, where an American worker could work 40 hours a week, afford a place to live, afford food, and have a family, there would be less annoying TikTokers. 100%. 100%. We are incentivizing a world where working hard at a job that could contribute to the society as a whole isn't worth it. And seeking attention is. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Because my skill isn't in contributing to society. My skill in life truly is seeking attention. So it's working for me. I'm just saying this is what I see. Anyways, so the whole sort of crux of my thought for this week, and hopefully something crazy doesn't happen Friday through Sunday. Hopefully it's just a slow weekend. My crux, the crux of this episode is I was thinking about 2 things, right? And I've talked about this before. One, the sort of feeling of the end of the world, right? Where people aren't having kids and It's getting hotter, and will it stop getting hotter? Or how much are we contributing to it? Are we, if we're contributing in a massive way, are we able to curb what we're doing to make the world more hospitable? Diseases, violence, things seem to be going in a direction. They seem to be going in a direction of societal breakdown. I've heard people say that. People say there ain't no future. Why are you having kids? There ain't no future. And my thought is, and I think I've brought it up here before, what really brought on this thought is I've been thinking about this sort of stuff, and I listened to a song on Spotify. You can look it up. Too Young. It's called Too Young, the number 2 Young, by Stoplight Observations, I believe it is. I can look it up, but I think it's called Too Young by Stoplight Observations or something like that, right? Search it up on Spotify, you'll find it. It's a song about, the chorus is, I guess I'm going to die too young. And so it got me thinking about that and like what direction is the world headed on. And I think the most comforting fact about all of that is that everything I seem to read is that society has always felt like it's on the verge of collapse to many people. I think not in certain time shots. I think if you maybe because in the 90s I didn't feel that way, but also in the 90s I was a kid in America when America was like the only superpower. So obviously I didn't feel like society was on the verge of collapse. If I lived in Bosnia or Yugoslavia or any of these places where ethnic cleansing was happening, I'd be like, man, this feels like this is all over. It's a comforting fact that apocalypse seems to be always around the corner. You understand what I'm saying? Apocalypse is always around the corner. That's how people felt. Because society, we talk about social contracts, is just held up by these things that we all agree to partake in. And at any moment, if a couple of those strings are cut, the world around you that you knew comes crumbling down. The world may not be over, but the world as you knew will become crumbling down, which will feel like the world is over. And I just think everyone has sort of felt that way. I look back, you think of all the crazy things that happened. And then some of them are even like the ending of the world in 2012. That was kind of always obviously bullshit, but some people thought it was real. Y2K was a genuine, real scare. I remember in 1999, I bought his book called Y2K9, and it was about a dog who was a hacker who saved the world. That's an aside. But Y2K was real. People thought it was going to be over. I feel this way. This is sort of like silver lining with this sort of global warming thing is that, people keep saying that like the earth is beyond a boiling point. We're at global boiling now. And then there's so many things that are scary that you read. And it's like, not to minimize it. Yes, things can be bad, but also it might not be over. There's a lot of anxiety in people now, and people are anxious about their future. But remember, people have always been anxious about their future. The best you can do is keep living your life and trying to get 99 plus notifications on TikTok. That's the most you can do in your life, is live your life and try to get TikTok notifications. Though it should be food, water. It should be this is your basic needs, right? Water, food, shelter. I would say like a mate or a partner, and then 99 plus TikTok likes. That's the fifth most important thing. And then like friends. And then like friends, and then like insurance. And then like paying your taxes. And the NFL. Those are like the 9 most important things in life. Right? And, you know, overall point being, I just, you know, I was reading about different times people thought, you know, when Halley's Comet visited in 1910s, people thought that was going to destroy the world somehow because people in the early 20th centuries were idiots. They were dumb. And maybe people will look back on us and be like, damn, they're dumb. Well, they definitely will. They definitely will look back on us and be like, damn, they're dumb. You know? That's the sort of thing about looking at the past. Sometimes I think about the past and like, just like try to imagine a life without like, internet is tough, but I remember a life without internet barely. You know what I mean? I was very young when dial-up started being a thing and like, but like, so you couldn't just log on the internet. It was like a thing if you went on the internet. So I remember a time without internet. I can't imagine a time without TV. That's insane. What the fuck did people do? That's crazy. It's crazy. But I guarantee you, they always thought, there's got to be a subsection of people that always thought the apocalypse is around the corner. Always. In the 70s, I remember when I did Jimmy Carter's Dick Energy, there was a speech he talked about where he was like, our democracy is under threat, which is what we say now. That's what the left says about Trump. That's what the right says about Hunter Biden. Like, the democracy is always under threat. First of all, democracy isn't that real here. We're more of a democracy in name. There might have been a time when we were a true democracy between like 1919 and like Reagan where people could actually vote, but I'm pretty sure there was something going on, right? Because at first it was just only rich male landowners, white landowners that could vote. And then everyone, you know, and then we called that a democracy because that was everyone. We are a republic more than a democracy, but we like to call ourselves a democracy. We like to do that in this country. Like, everything that's good is democratic, and everything that's bad is Marxist. I saw a tweet yesterday talking about, like, Blackwater and like, Vanguard or, like, Blackstone or whatever these, like, crazy, intense, like, world-shaping corporations, and someone's got to stop these Marxist corporations, and it's like, hey, Marxist corporations aren't Marxist. Just because they're doing something bad doesn't make it communist. Capitalists do terrible things, too. It's this weird, like, blind worship of capitalism that's so funny to me. But apocalypse is always around the corner. You know, the more you think about that, the better. I don't know. It's weird. That makes me feel better. It's weird that, like, bro, we're not really that special. The world probably isn't going to end on our lifetime. And if it does, how lucky for us to hit that lottery. We got to see the end of a great race of species. If it's really over for us, we got to be like, bro, we ruled the world like dinosaurs ruled the world. It was us, then dinosaurs, bro. If I'm power ranking the species that have lived on this planet, number 1 is human beings. Number 2 is dinosaurs. That's how dope people are. You ever think about a dinosaur and think about how fucking cool that is? We're better. We're better. I don't even know what number 3 is. The mitochondria. Number 3 is the mitochondria. It's the powerhouse of the cell. But as far as things that have lived on this planet, we are number 1 rank for sure. So if we saw the end of it, that's pretty cool, man. Saw the end of a dynasty. But I don't think so. Apocalypse is always around the corner. That's what I've learned from just sort of observing what people have said about history. In 1975, people were warning about global warming. People were also warning about mass starvation that was happening. Well, that was going to happen in a few years, just like they're warning about now. In 1975, they were worrying about global cooling. They said that was an issue. So it's like, bro, apocalypse is always around the corner. So if you feel like things are bleak, it's okay. They've always been bleak. Hey, it's never been great. It's never been great. It's always been great. I mean, it's great. Life is beautiful, obviously, but it's never been great. I've always thought this is sort of a base mode of life is suffering. And you just do whatever you can to alleviate this suffering. But that's why life is so beautiful, because there is suffering. You can't have beauty without suffering. Yin and yang, baby. Chinese had it right. Yin and yang. You ever have a good day? You ever have a really good day? For every good day you have, a kid in Africa gets AIDS. It's the karmic balance sheet. Oh, man. I genuinely think this is a good episode. But I did want to ask this, though, since we, and there are people having less kids now or whatever, right? But a lot of that also is like, if you see, I remember graphs in biology where in AP biology, they would talk about population growth. And with every species, whenever there's a large uptick in populations, which human beings have exploded, eventually it plateaus and goes down. Maybe the world is heating up not just because of everything we're doing. Maybe it's just because of simply the fact that so many of us exist on this planet. You ever been in a room with 5 people? That same room with 8 billion people would be infinitely hotter. That's my prediction. You'll see it right here. The more our populations level off and more people die off, the more sort of stable our environment will get. I truly believe that. Man. And for some people, what's about to happen, this tough time, there are about to be some tough times. There always is some tough times ahead. It's going to feel like the world is ending. I can't imagine what it was like to be in the trenches of World War I or Iwo Jima in World War II. You'd feel like the world is ending. Because it was. For you. Apocalypse is always around the corner. No one's ever been safe from it. No one's ever been safe at any place. Pre-2011, you're just a kid in number 1 America, and you're going to high school, and things are looking good, and then Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris show up. For those kids in that library in Columbine, the world was ending. Apocalypse is always around the corner. And that's a comforting thought. It could happen to anyone, anytime. It's like, I've only watched one episode of Band of Brothers, but the thing one of the guys says is like, how are you getting through this? And he goes, I'm already dead. The world is ending. It could possibly end for you and for a lot of people. So, the best you can do is live your life how you want to live it and get those 99 plus notifications on TikTok. That should be the goal of everyone here. Everyone here should try to get a fuck ton of TikTok likes. Because if you're not doing that, you're not living. If you're not living on TikTok, you're not alive, baby. Man, oh man. Thank you, ma'am. Well, also, because I'm filming this like way early, that's why I'm not talking about any sort of current event thing that's going on. Sorry, too late. Me talking about the Montgomery bus thing. Montgomery bus. Jesus. It's a whole different thing. Montgomery, it's a Rosa Parks thing. That already happened. That didn't just happen last week. But the Montgomery fight is just like, why? Well, the internet's probably already moved on by now. By the time this comes out, the internet will have moved on. There were so many good memes. My favorite meme I saw was there was a black dude with a chair on his pants, like tied to his belt, and it said it, and the caption said, "It's open carry season." Yo, the internet is the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing. I work so hard at trying to be funny, and it doesn't matter because the internet exists, and I'll never be funnier. No one ever will. Your best comedian, though, Dave Chappelle, isn't as funny as the internet. And that motherfucker's hilarious. But the internet, man, that shit, the memes, bro. I remember when 9gag buried a bunch of memes in the desert as like a time capsule. You guys remember this? Remember 9gag? Does 9gag still exist? I never hear anyone talking about 9gag. What a horrible name for a company. Let me look. I'm gonna look it up right now. 9gag. 9gag. Best funny memes and your daily dose of funny memes. Okay. Let's see. 2,000 likes. Oh, it looks like Reddit now. Family of boy decapitated on waterside receives 15 million pounds after murder charges were dropped. Huh. That's not a meme. That's just horrible news. It just looks like shitty Reddit. That's crazy. All right. But, 9gag. Huge in the early 2010s. Let's see. Any thoughts that I was working on? Thoughts for stage. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here's one. I saw a let's talk about this. In the green room at Rogan show yesterday, they were talking about KKK, like grand wizards and stuff or whatever. Like how dorky that is. And it reminded me of an old joke I used to have. I haven't done it in years. But the joke went like this. So years ago, I saw this article about this like KKK grand wizard that got shot outside of his part-time job. And it's like, damn, you're a wizard and you still need a job? That's crazy. You used all your magic powers on racism and none of it on not being poor? You can even conjure yourself up a full-time job? A part-time minimum wage job. That's the best you could do as a wizard, bro. Can you imagine if in Harry Potter, he was also just working graveyard shift at 7-Eleven? You can't call yourself a wizard if you still have a job. You can't. That's not how wizards work, bro. That's not how wizards work. I'll take a stand right here, right now, bro. That's not how wizards work, dog. I'll fucking fight you about it. That was an old joke of mine, man. What a good joke. I miss it. Okay, so here's the other idea. So I saw a white dude eating like a whole, like completely unseasoned chicken. And I don't know what just clicked. It's like, oh, that's why they took over everything. It just made sense to me. I was just watching him eat this chicken with no seasoning, bro. And I was like, damn, the just determination and the willingness to endure these harsh conditions, man. It made sense why they made it all the way out west. You know what I mean? The American Plains isn't a very hospitable land, and the Comanche were an incredibly tough fight for anybody. The Comanche were tough for anybody, unless You can eat a whole Costco rotisserie without even salt or pepper. Then you can figure out the Comanche. You can figure it out then. There's something about just like, I was watching him eat it and I was like, damn, bro. That's impressive. It's like I was impressed. I was impressed. I was like, this is how y'all took over everything. No way I could do that. Eat an unseasoned chicken? It's so bland. But, I couldn't take over the world. There's no way. There's no way. I'm too busy here preaching about apocalypse, bro. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I genuinely think, like, as I was in the middle of that, I was like, oh, I think I'm finding my groove again. I'm not gonna lie, dog. I'm pretty good at podcasting, I think. Actually. Just give this time, bro. Give this time. I feel it now. I feel it now in a way I didn't even feel when I was in my parents' house. I feel it. This is I'm on a new level. Like comedically, like I know a lot of you haven't seen me on stage, but trust, your boy is going to be something in this world. One day my TikTok notifications will just be stuck at 99 plus likes. That's my goal. I'm manifesting that as well. I forgot what I manifested earlier. Oh, yeah, going out with Neil Brennan. But my other manifestation, that's my flex. My TikTok always at 99 plus. Ho. Bitch ass bitch. Who am I talking to? You bitch ass bitch ho. Always at 99 notifications plus, son. So yeah, that's what I thought. You see a white man eating some unseasoned chicken, and you're like, oh wow. So another thought I wanted to talk out for the stage is so let me see where time I am at too. So I am dating a Hindu woman. I am in love with a Hindu woman, which is, can be very, I'm a Muslim man, can be very rocky. You know what I mean? Like the other day we had just a talk about our, what our wedding would look like. Right? Because I'm Muslim, she's Hindu. We're both not going to convert. But what do we do? Because she said there's a lot of imams wouldn't do the marriage if she didn't convert. And I said, oh, really? Yeah. She was like, and she told me about her friend who had to pay the imam like an extra almost $10,000 to do a wedding with someone who's not Muslim. And I went, that is the real God. That right there, that money, that's the real God. Because if that imam truly believed, he would actually not do it, right? If that was truly against his faith, he would actually not do it. But no, he's not doing it because he's like, oh, my faith tells me I shouldn't do it. But if you offer me enough money, obviously I'll do it. Money is the true God. That's what that taught me. Money is the true God. That I wonder if the imam would do it if I was like, hey, look at my TikTok like. It's 99 plus. It's 99 plus. And the world's going to end. Look, apocalypse is just around the corner. If I just picture like that, look, I got 99 plus. Apocalypse is around the corner. Just marry us. But, it doesn't have to be that religious. It doesn't have to be that religious. Like, we just talked about going to the courthouse and then having a sort of reception and not having like a ceremony. Like, this is something you have to figure out because this is a huge deal. A Muslim Hindu, this is a huge deal for both of our families. It's wild. It's wild. And what's crazy is that none of the younger people care. No first generation really cares. And any first generation who really cares, I'll show me a first generation brown person who really cares and I'll show you a loser. I'll show you a loser. But a lot of the older generations come from the old country, immigrants, they care. And so that is a minefield we'll have to navigate. Fortunately, as a comic who curses and I talk about smoking weed and my prostitute addiction when I was younger, I have dealt with a lot of minefields in my life. So one more isn't that big of a problem for me. But it's something we talk about. I'm Muslim, she's Hindu. We're both not going to convert. She asked me, how do we raise our kids? And I said, why not show them the best of both worlds, The spirituality of both is very strong. And especially when I do something like Ramadan, I feel really connected to the community as a whole, even though I'm not terribly religious. And I was like, well, why don't we just give them the best of both worlds? And she goes, well, then what do they tell their friends at school when they ask? And I said, well, hopefully at school, they'll be too worried about figuring out whether or not they're a guy or a girl to think about God. Hopefully we have that going for us. That could be a smokescreen. You got to be like, oh, am I a guy? Am I a girl? Oh, dodge some bullets. Am I a guy? Am I a girl? Dodge more bullets. You know what I mean? So, there's a way around it in school. But yeah, no, it's just something I have to think about because relationship is getting more and more serious, It's the most serious relationship I've ever been in. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I guess that's also why I was thinking about the future. But like, do I want kids? Because I think I'll be in a position to afford kids for sure. But I think that puts me in a privileged place. There's a lot of like. There's a lot of privilege that I just have in my life. The other day, I stayed home and just like laid around and chilled because I needed a break mentally. And it made me realize, like, bro, you have to have a certain level of privilege to take a mental health day. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be doing pretty well in life to take a mental health day. Because it's been 105 degrees in Texas for the last, like, month. I don't know how long, but for a long time. And you know who's working? All those construction workers. They don't have the privilege of being like, I need to take a day off. This is burdening my mental health. Because you know what would burden my mental health? Having to do construction for a month straight in 105 degree weather. But I have the ability to take a day off because I have a privilege. And any one of you who's like taking a mental health day, just remember that. Because everyone who takes a mental health day is like, oh, I need it so badly. And like they like sort of like be like, oh, it's just important. And maybe I'm not saying it's not important to you, but you understand that you come from a level of privilege that you get to just do that. You get to take a day off because you just don't want to. Talking about, oh, the world is ending. You know who feels like the world is ending? The guy working construction right now. For him, apocalypse isn't around the corner. He's living in it. He probably doesn't think it's an apocalypse. I don't know. I'm just talking about a straw man construction worker. But for him, if you have a mental health day, apocalypse is around the corner. If you're working outside in these conditions because you have to feed your family, apocalypse is kind of now. Apocalypse Now. Is that what that movie's about? It's about Mexican workers in Texas in 105 degree weather? Is that what that's about? I've never seen it. But yeah, guys, I think it's time this episode ends. Thank you so much for listening to me rant. Like always, you guys are the best. Remember, when you're feeling down about the state of the world, remember, apocalypse is around the corner. Keep working to get those 99 plus likes on TikTok. I believe in y'all. Infidels, I love you. See you next week. Peace in the Middle East. Later.